Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. We're back after a long layoff. I don't really know why. We just didn't really do any shows for a while.
I had to grow this beard.
I had to shave mine.
I had to make sure it wasn't too patchy.
Yeah.
But it took too long, so we're just doing it anyway.
And then I've been out of town like twice, so that kind of held it back a little bit, I guess. But I don't know. But we're back now with a great card. I will say, last weekend, I dominated my parlays. Went 9 for 9 on picks.
So sorry we didn't tell you about it.
Yeah,
if you follow us on Twitter, it was all there.
Put out 2 separate parlays, a prelim and a main card, hit them both. If you would have combined them, you probably would have won a couple grand on not a lot of money. So maybe I can do it for you again this week, and we'll have it.
But so we'll just do the main card today, and then later in the week we'll probably do a prelim.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a prelim for sure. Hopefully you'll be there to do it as well. But I'm riding hot on the prelims. That's where I make my money now. So start with the main card today, though. First fight on the main card is Ian Cutelaba versus Magomed Ankalaev. That probably isn't how you say his name, but they fought a few months ago, and it was a big deal because it was a very early stoppage. Fight went around 30 seconds, and they shouldn't have stopped it, so they're going to run it back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this is the one, like right when they were introducing him, Cutelaba went up to him and got in his face. Really weird. It was crazy. And they had to separate him, and the fight started. And yeah, about 30 seconds in, they stopped it. While they were both still on their feet. Magomed, is that how you say it? I don't know. Am I saying the wrong guy? I don't know. But
No, his first name's Magomed. I don't know how to say his last name, though.
Magomed, then. Yeah, he was really kicking his ass. He head kicked him like 4 times in a row. And Cutelaba was really wobbly on his feet. But it was definitely, they stopped it early, but I think Magomed was beating his ass. So since that's really the only reference I have, I'm going to go with Magomed.
Yeah, Magomed, he's a minus 320 favorite, so he's expected to win the fight. He was expected to win it last time as well. Cutelaba he's just a fucking douchebag. I don't like him. He got in Roundtree's face really bad too, but he beat Roundtree. So yeah, I'm going to go with Magomed. I got a burp. I think it'll be by knockout. I think Cutelaba already is somebody that goes in there with a lot of emotion. And I think it'll be even worse this time. And I think it'll lead to his downfall. And I think Magomed's going to knock him out. And I think it could be in the first round. So,
Yeah, I think he was on his way to getting knocked out anyway last time. I mean, definitely early stoppage, but I mean, whatever.
So, we'll spend more time on the rest of the fight. So that one's like, I don't really care a whole lot about it. But
this next one I'm pretty excited about. Not because I think it's going to be a great fight.
It might be.
John Dodson, he was always one of my favorite guys, like back in the day. He's still all right. He's just not as good as he used to be. And this Mirab guy, he's been looking like a beast in all of his fights. Unfortunately, he beat our guy Casey Kenny, but that kind of showed me how good he really was. And then what was his last fight? I know he looked really good in his last fight, too.
He beat, let me look. He just fucking ragdolled somebody and took him down a million times.
Yeah.
It was Gustavo Lopez.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to definitely go with Merab here again.
Yeah. Merab, he's mainly a wrestler. He's pretty good on the feet, too, but he just ragdolls people, takes them down.
And he seems a lot bigger than Dodson.
Yeah, pretty much as he wants. John Dodson is still good, though. Like, he only loses to really good guys, and he's been beating pretty good guys still. In 2018, he beat Pedro Munoz, who's ranked like top 6 right now in the world. Mm-hmm. Then he lost to Jimmy Rivera in a pretty close fight. And then I think, he lost to Peter Yan. I think it was a split decision. So John Dodson is still really good. I was surprised to see that John Dodson's the underdog at plus 152 because I thought I was going to make some money on Merab. I thought he'd be an underdog. But Merab's a minus 180. I think it might be hard for Merab to get a hold of him with how much John Dodson moves and how fast he is, and he's like wiry. Like he can fucking just get out of anything, scramble around. But I still think Merab will win. I think it's going to be really high pace. I think we're going to see Merab take him down a lot and John get right back to his feet really fast. But I think Merab will win by decision. That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too. These guys both have really good conditioning, so that's not going to be a factor. I think it's just going to be him being the stronger, bigger, better guy. But I love Dodson, so if he pulls it off, I'll be pretty happy anyway.
If Merab struggles to get a hold of John because of how much he moves, it could be a tough fight for him, though. I wouldn't be surprised if John Dodson won.
Yeah, Dodson's definitely faster.
It's a big step in competition for Merab.
Yeah. we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for that one, though. It's pretty interesting. Next one, big guys, JDS and Rosenstrike. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Rosenstrike's the minus 158 favorite. I think I'm going to go with Rosenstrike just because JDS doesn't really have much of a chin anymore. JDS is still really good. He's probably a better boxer, but usually when he fights guys with a lot of power, he gets knocked out. At least the last couple of years, that's how it's been. Rosenstrike has a fuck ton of power. He knocked out Overeem, and he is a really good kickboxer as well. I could see this fight being similar to the Overeem one, where JDS is winning the fight, outboxing him, moving really well, but it's just going to take one shot from Rosenstrike, and at some point I think he's going to land it. So I would go Rosenstrike by knockout, second or third round, I'd say.
I really want to go with JDS here, though. I mean, you're right with everything you're saying there, but I just feel like JDS is so much better rounded. And, I mean, he's still been looking really good, even though he's getting older, but he can get knocked out. I'm probably going to go JDS, especially him being the underdog, right?
Yeah, he's a plus 134 right now.
I'll probably put him in a parlay. Just because I think, I mean, he's the better fighter. It's just, can he not get knocked out? Which is a lot of times what we have to think about in heavyweight fights. Yeah. Like last weekend with Derek Lewis and Olenek.
Yeah. Maybe Rosenstrike's chin might be gone a little bit after the Francis one, but I don't. JDS hasn't had the power that he's always had either, especially since he came back from the USADA thing. I'm going to go with Rosenstrike by knockout, but JDS, I don't know, fuck. It's hard for me to see JDS winning the fight. Like, can he go 15 minutes without getting hit on the chin really good once? I don't think he can.
I'm going to say yes.
I don't think he can. All right, next one. Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera, also known as Cheeto Vera. When they announced this, I thought this was going to be a tough one for O'Malley, like always getting a pretty big step up in competition. But then I went back and looked at some of Marlon's fights and his results and stuff, and he's not as good as I thought he was. O'Malley's a minus 290 favorite. I think that's actually fair. I don't know.
Minus 290?
Yeah, Marlon, he doesn't beat really good guys, and he actually loses to pretty not good guys. He's just fun to watch, so he's got a pretty big name. I think they're going to both come out doing some crazy shit. Vera might throw some flying knees, and they're both long and kind of built similar, but I don't know. O'Malley looked really good. He has really good boxing. I think the smart thing for him to do is just keep it conventional and just outbox him, and I think he eventually will land a big shot and knock him out, and if not, I think he can just piece him up the whole fight, really. So I'm going to go with O'Malley. I don't know. Maybe I might go by decision. He might struggle to knock him out, but
yeah. When this fight got announced, everybody was kind of complaining about it. It seemed like saying that they're giving O'Malley like another easy fight, and I was like, this seems like a fight that really makes sense for them to make. I didn't understand the complaining there. People saying this is just like an easy fight, and they're just giving him fish basically. And I don't know. This seems like a good fight to me. I probably will go with O'Malley too. I'm surprised he's that big of a favorite. I mean, it's almost worth putting something on Cheeto Vera because, I mean, I think he's good. But
he's
you're
a
right.
plus 235.
Yeah, he does lose to the best guys that he fights.
Well, he loses to guys that aren't even that good either. He lost to Song Yadong. He's lost to Douglas Silva, De Andrade. He's lost to Lineker. Like, I don't know. He hasn't beaten anybody good either.
I still think this is a step up in competition for O'Malley. So
yeah, it is.
It's gonna be more of a test for him than he's had, in my opinion. So it's interesting. I'm probably still gonna go with O'Malley. He looks like he's the truth, especially on his feet. I think he'll probably struggle once he gets like some real good wrestlers he has to fight. But this seems like a pretty winnable fight for him.
Yeah, I think he'll win. But I would be pretty surprised if he got caught with some crazy shit. But it could happen.
I won't be surprised if Cheeto Vera wins.
It's gonna be hard for Sean O'Malley to get kneed in the face.
Yeah.
He's really long. But, all right, main event. Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, the trilogy. First fight, DC knocked him out in the first round with a right hook. Second fight, Stipe knocked DC out in the fourth round, mainly from body shots, but ended up with a flurry to the head. So this fight is in a smaller cage, which should benefit Cormier, especially with Stipe being a guy that has really good footwork and moves around a lot. He won't be able to do that as much here, so Cormier should be able to get him against the cage or maybe cut him off or get to some single legs. The main thing for DC, I think, is stick to his wrestling. Hopefully he's in good shape this time. He gassed last time. I think he needs to throw a lot of leg kicks. That helped him a lot in the first fight, or the second fight, and then he stopped doing it. And I've been watching some of his old fights. He has really good kicks. Not even just leg kicks. He has good front kicks, decent head kicks. And then the main thing for me is after watching the second fight, him reaching like this. He always reaches out here to control people's hands and stuff. And that's when he was getting hit to the body. Stipe would kind of just throw a hand up, and DC would start reaching for it like this and completely open up his body and get hit there. So I think he needs to not reach as much and keep his elbows down, blocking down his body. I think if he can do all that, he'll win.
Yeah, Stipe is definitely going to, I think, try to pick up where he left off with those body shots. He's going to be targeting that. It's pretty clear that that's a weakness for DC. You can even saw it in his Anderson Silva fight. It's really the only time he got hurt. Was when he got kicked right in the same spot, I think. So, yeah, he's going to have to be aware of that, which I'm sure he is. And, yeah, he needs to stick to his wrestling game plan and not get so confident in his hands like he has been, even though, I mean, clearly he can do it. So this is going to be in a small cage?
Yep.
I know Stipe was trying to fight against that, which I do kind of hate that they're doing that. I think they need to have some consistency. But, I mean, whatever.
Every fight during this pandemic's been a small cage, though.
I don't understand, though. Why?
Because they're not in big enough arenas to have the big one.
I guess. I don't know, but yeah, so basically, what are the odds here?
Minus 102 for Stipe, minus 116 for DC right now.
So pretty even, which, I mean, yeah, it should be. It's 1-1. I am kind of surprised DC's not a little bit of a favorite.
He is.
I mean, more of a favorite, I guess. But, because if you go back and watch all the fights, DC has been winning pretty much all of it except for that one round. I mean, he's clearly the better fighter to me. He just, I mean, made a mistake there and paid for it. And I think he's going to do everything he can to win this fight, which hopefully means he's going to stick to the wrestling and mix it up well and not just be all stand-up.
Yeah. I think Stipe, something he's going to try to do better this fight. The thing that kind of made him get outboxed in the first two fights is he doesn't move his feet as much as he usually does. He has like the best footwork out of any heavyweight we've ever seen, besides maybe Kane. And he didn't use it the last two fights against DC. He's kind of just stood in front of him, and DC's gotten the better of the exchanges. So I think we'll see Stipe try to use his footwork more this fight, but with the smaller cage, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I'm going to go with DC. I think he's going to finish it. With the smaller cage, I think he's going to land more shots. And if he sticks to his wrestling, wrestling is more tiring, but it should be more tiring for Stipe as well, trying to get up and defend the wrestling. So I think if DC can get to his wrestling, he can maybe wear Stipe out. And it's also going to see who has the better training camp in this pandemic, which is, I mean, it's tough. You would think DC will. He's had Kane with him and Corey Anderson with him, and Rockhold's been with him a little bit for this camp. So he's had way better people to train with during these tough times. And one thing I didn't mention, DC's also been working with Mark Henry, who in my opinion is the best boxing coach in MMA. And they've been saying that Mark Henry saw a lot of holes in Stipe's game, and that's why they started working together, because Mark Henry said that. So if anybody's going to find those holes, it's going to be Mark Henry. So to me, everything's pointing towards DC besides age.
Yeah.
Like, everything for me, DC should be able to win this fight. And I want to see what the odds are on a submission, because if he really does wrestle him the entire time, at some point Stipe might give up his neck. And I think the odds on that,
submission, it's going to be your naked choke.
Yeah, I think the odds on that are going to be insane. So, I mean, I might look at that. I wouldn't be surprised either way who wins this fight, but I'm going to go with Cormier.
I'm hoping Cormier wins. I mean, he's always been one of my favorite guys, obviously being wrestlers, and I don't know. I want him to go out on top, especially after losing to John Jones so much, and then coming up finally getting his big win over Stipe, and then losing the second one. Just, I don't know. I'm really pulling for him. I know a lot of people probably aren't. People like Stipe too. I like Stipe, but I like DC more.
I think the only way I can really see Stipe winning is if DC overcompensates for those body shots. Like, tries to protect himself on the body shots and starts getting hit in the head too much.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's one of the best fighters ever, and he's a really smart guy, and he's got good coaches. I feel like he's going to know what to do here.
Yeah, but it's just his body, though. Like, his body just makes it so hard. Like, he can't...
I'm interested to see how fat he is when he comes in for this one.
I think he needs to be smaller.
I think so, too.
And in better shape.
Yeah.
Because the skinnier he is, the harder his core is going to be, and the more he's going to be able to take those body shots. Last fight, he's fat.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's just he was fat. He didn't have as much of a hard core around his stomach and his abs.
I think the hard core's still there. It's just covered up by more fat. So, I mean, honestly, he might be better off with more fat because he's still strong as shit and he's in shape and he's got abs under all that bullshit.
Getting hit in that fat would hurt more.
I don't know.
And the conditioning, like, he needs his conditioning.
Fatter, but I haven't got that fat yet. Speaking of that, shout out to PerformX. I'm going there to do some jiu-jitsu today. Out in Brownsburg, Indiana. So if you're around there, go check it out.
Sweet. So my parlay for the main card as of now, I would pick all the favorites. I would go with Magomed, I would go with Mirab, I would go with Rosenstrike, I'd go with O'Malley, and I'd go with DC.
My advice for this is, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I would go with DC,
O'Malley,
Mirab, Magomed over Cutabella, and then I would just pick one favorite, whichever you feel more comfortable. You'd either go JDS or you'd go Cheeto Vera.
JDS isn't a favorite.
You mean underdog? I meant underdog. Pick an underdog out of those two. I'd say either JDS or Cheeto Vera. That way you get a little bump on your parlay. Go both if you think, but I would just pick the one you're more comfortable with. That's what I'm going to do.
I think I'm done with the good underdog thing. I've been doing that, and I keep losing parlays by one fight. Like the Aldo one, I thought he was my good underdog. And last
I've been
week,
losing favorites, though.
I haven't. Last week, I didn't do a favorite underdog. I just picked the guys that I really thought would win the fights, and I went 9 for 9. So I'm going to keep doing that until it fails me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice for the pay bump to get the good underdogs,
but the
good underdogs usually don't win.
Yeah.
So it's like I had 2 underdogs last week on mine. Like Andrew Sanchez was my underdog, but he was a plus 100. I wasn't picking any. Like Cheeto Vera shouldn't be a plus 235. He should be like a plus 180 probably. But I'm not gonna pick him just because of the odds. Like there's a reason he's plus 235.
I'll probably put JDS in there, but I don't know.
JDS isn't bad.
And we're gonna do the undercard later this week, so hopefully that's where you can make some money because a lot of times that's where the nice little secrets are.
Yeah. So, welcome back to us. Follow us on Twitter at Rivalry MMA. That's where I'll post my parlays, which will probably have more than just the ones on the podcast. Shout out Big Heads Media. Post us on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, all that stuff. Follow us on everything. Subscribe to us on here. Leave some comments. Let us know what you guys think. And use our parlays. And we will see you guys to go over the prelims.